welcome to an Emmys 2022 edition of the Friday Night Movie Podcast. And, usually we get to award season and we roll our eyes and we complain about the snubs. It makes it really hard when you actually get to go. And we've been doing the show for 5 years. I went to Los Angeles.
Finally got invited to the Emmys by coincidence.
No, that's not it. This show for 5 years, and almost every single person I saw before the Emmys were people from what I would call the Friday Night Movie family. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things we always try to do, like what are we trying to do with the show, is we want, whether they know it or not, anyone who's on the show or listens to the show is part of the family. And that was my experience. It was so great. I thought you were going to be like, every single person I saw at the Emmys was on our podcast once. No, and I was going to be like, no, that's Smartless. That's not our podcast. No, exactly. No, they're not on our show. No, I'm talking about the people I visited before. And I'm just going to run down the list in vague order of appearance, but not really, because I just wrote a list down. Okay. We saw Esther Kostanowitz. I saw Esther Kostanowitz of the Bagel Report. We went to the Carnegie Deli. How amazing is that? Pancake for the Table, Bagel Report, Friday Night Movie at a Jewish deli. It was incredible.
I almost feel like the universe should have exploded. It's too many things all at once.
I saw Michael Sharf,
pancakes,
co-creator of Do Re Mi.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because we also had Mike on the show.
And friend since we were little, younger brother of Dave Sharf. Mike and I hung out not once but twice. That was amazing. I may have bought an apartment in the metaverse through him,
which is amazing. I don't know any of those words
for our show.
Anything for a member of the family.
An apartment for our show to live at?
Yeah, our show's going to live in it. Okay.
What is
so weird?
All real words, but that sentence doesn't mean anything.
We're doing a follow-up call. He's going to explain. All right. Then Galit Shai, who is like friends since the Jewish camp days, who introduced us to Caitlin Decker. And I went to Caitlin's house. I have presents for you.
So exciting from Decker.
From Decker Shop LA. And hung out with her family and Galit's family. And that was amazing. There was a surprise visit of Kristen Farnham. I texted her and said, I'm in Los Angeles. And I know she had told me previous time I said I was coming that she was in Santa Barbara. I didn't realize that to people in California, that's close.
Oh, no, that's close. No, to people in California, that's close.
So she came down for some of the adventure. Then I went to Candace Martellaro's performance, soft skills performance. So that was awesome. Got to see Candace. Breakfast with Janet. Breakfast with Janet. And then breakfast with Mike and Mike Roberts and Bree Williamson at their house, and met their
all guests of the pod, all amazing artists.
Okay. And then, truly a member of the family, my sister from another podcast, Alana Parker, and I got to hang out. And she's like, I would say like maybe my first friend ever in LA that I met everybody, almost everyone through the internet. Not the people from a long time ago. And we just had the most amazing time. And it was so special to catch up with everybody. And
so many real life friends that you made on the internet. Like, let's just go. Most people don't have that many real life friends. Nobody has
general. Like I definitely don't have that many friends.
There are so many crossovers.
There were two people who introduced me to the other people as their friend from the internet, and I did sort of say, "Can you not make it sound creepy?" But two of the people did say, "This is my friend from the internet, Shai," and that was odd. But
is it better than saying the metaverse? I'm renting his apartment.
He's my roommate from the metaverse.
And so I've named all these people. People should go back and we should do a playlist of all these people and their episodes. I'm going to do a playlist.
These are all great episodes.
This is a greatest hits. So it was very special people. They were so wonderful. Walked in the Hollywood Hills with Janet. She was very worried I was going to collapse.
Okay, because I'm going to just assume Janet.
You're wearing a dress shirt.
Who's incredibly busy and has so much going on. She's probably not going to have a chance to listen to this episode. So let's just say...
she will listen to it, maybe.
Well, then the truth is coming out. Janet, Shai must respect you so much that he went for a hike with you.
So you didn't go to brunch with her, which was the original plan.
No, we went to brunch and then we went for a little walk afterwards.
A little walk.
Oh.
Okay. It looked like a
nice.
It felt like one.
Did you run into Kevin Smith? He's always hiking there.
I don't know which canyon or thing. The geography of Los Angeles.
Runyon. They always go to Runyon Canyon.
I don't
it's
think
always
it was
on
that
the
one.
on the
Okay.
gram.
But why was I there for this trip? Although I got to see all these amazing people, I was there because my oldest friend since birth, Alon J. Katsir, head writer of the Colbert Show, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, invited me to be his +1 to the Emmys. And I want to just take a moment to, with no joke, say thank you to one of the greatest friends anyone could have for taking me on this experience, and to all of his colleagues, from the most important person on that show to every other, Stephen, to every other person with a job on that show, and their +1s were just the most wonderful people. It was like being welcomed into a family for the weekend, and I had the best time. I got to talk about, these are the conversations you get to have with people this cool. With one person, I talked about Weird Al Yankovic for a while, so that was fun. And another person, I talked about cats for a while.
I mean,
This is a real picture of the
all of the other stuff aside, the fact that you just got to have a cat's conversation and then separate a Weird Al conversation, greatest night of your life.
Yeah, that was exactly. So it was incredible. Okay, now let's get to the Emmys, and I'm going to start with the Emmys. There were amazing experiences on the red carpet.
Hey, first of all, the fact that you got to walk on the red carpet, like most people,
Okay,
people don't really.
I have questions.
That was the
Were
coolest
you
thing I've ever done.
disappointed? Were you disappointed it wasn't red?
I noticed it wasn't red, but honestly, I think it looks better for TV that it wasn't red. Like
I would
it would've been-
imagine.
It was
like
like
gold?
a gold. It was like a gold carpet. It kind of matched the Emmys. It
I
was
bet you
nice.
people
I can't believe
complain
you
that
got to
red
do-
just clashes with their clothes and stuff.
You got to just meander around the red
So this is my
carpet
other question.
saying hello to
There's no line. They're just like cattle,
Did you
put
have
you
a
in like a
ticket to
pen,
this?
and they're like, which celebrity wins the photo call?
So apparently, well, there's the whole wall is a photo call going. It's like a U. It's like this long U with all the media, and the celebrities are coming in and out, and then the people who are, in my opinion, these are people performing at the top of their field, but not technically celebrities, right? Like Jay is a celebrity to us,
Mhm.
but it's not like his face is on TV all the time. So in previous years, what I understood is that the people running the Emmys would usher you. If you weren't famous, if you weren't doing media, they were like moving you through.
Mhm.
So we got ready. We braced ourselves to get pushed through.
Push through.
But everyone was very chill. There was no one rushing anyone. Celebrities came
they
in
let
and out.
they let you meander.
They're like, yeah, you meandered and you talked to people because, I mean, in fairness, like I'm not a nominee. I can understand me not being allowed on there. But the nominee, these folks are nominated for Emmys. They should all be kind of treated equally. And in that sense, they were the people who
Right, like the people who's nominated for a writing role, writing job, shouldn't be like pushed out because they're not famous and like made to miss all of this because celebrities need to get their photo taken.
It's enough
what you're
that
saying.
the primetime Emmys are split into two. So there were people who were nominated the week before that didn't get that,
Right.
that didn't get this.
Don't get to go to
but
this.
Don't get to go to this. But the nominees that were there all night all got treated. I thought my experience was well. Now, granted, I don't get nominated for these kind of things. So I don't know what you get for the other things. And then the celebrities would walk through, often with their handlers, and by handlers, not obnoxiously, like having been a media staffing person, just a person with a headset and a schedule who talks to media outlets to organize things, so the celebrities can like focus on it, enjoy it, and also talk to people. So I thought it was like really relaxed and really.
Well, you guys
nice.
looked very relaxed in the background of every single one of these interviews.
That was also another thing. I don't know why they didn't care, but we just like hung out in the E feed.
Well,
if anyone
like-
goes back and watches
like-
Elle Fanning's
like-
interview, we're just there.
Like your dear wife said, I've always wanted to know who the hell those random people are walking around.
Apparently, they're also nominees and hangers on, but like they're also people who might win Emmys. So it's
The best was the live chat in the family of the pre-show of the red carpet, just sending pictures of our
you.
various TVs with you circled teeny tiny in the back.
hey, look, that was and so I'm very conscious of A, not bothering people, but B, like first of all, it's an amazing opportunity. And if I have something truly that I want to say to one of these folks, particularly out of admiration, because I admire all of these people, but it's like a sincere thing from the heart, I will go up and say them. And I don't really.
No, sorry, go ahead.
and I don't really mind, like, and I'm not nervous about asking somebody famous to say hello and give them like a positive thing about how their work impacted my family and, impacted my family during the pandemic or whatever, which is what I would tell people, like a little 30-second thing. Also, I'm pretty brief. And so, and having, again, in my day job, having done all the foreign policy, national security, politics stuff, like those people aren't the same type of famous, but you do have things where you got to wait around to say hello to people and people are recognizable. So I have like a little bit of, hopefully,
I mean, like the Secretary of State, like whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, like Secretary of State or meeting Kristen Shaw. So Kristen Shaw was the first famous person I talked to.
Hold on. Can we just pause for a moment and acknowledge that I was her first fan in this family? In this family. But I was an early
adopter.
Kristen Shaw adopter. I saw her in one episode of Flight of the Conchords, and I was like, she's going to be a star.
I saw her on that episode of Modern Family where she plays the girl who accidentally gets catfished by the little son with the vampire fiction. But but this is someone who, like, I was like, I'm not going to make a big deal about talking to celebrities. But then when I saw her, and my kids watch Bob's Burgers or Gravity Falls, both shows in which she is a lead voice actor, 24 hours a day. She means so much to them. And that's what I told her. And she was so nice about it. And then I said, okay, I got to take a picture for the girls. So we took a picture. That was really great. I will come back. I will come back to the, hold on. Sorry, go ahead.
No. So could you have said hello to anybody at any time and you just chose the people you wanted to say hello to? Or you really had to wait for like what looked like an appropriate moment and it was very few? Or
depends on how you read a room. The way I read,
were you the only one taking pictures with them, or were there other normal people trying to take pictures with them?
There were, but I think people were pretty cool about it. I think everyone took a similar approach, which is, these, I mean, as much as they're there to enjoy it, they're working. So I wasn't like getting in between, someone who was doing a bunch of interviews. Like, I know that from my work. That's super annoying.
Right. I mean, you weren't stupid.
You're there to do interviews. Like,
moment.
You're there to be,
but it wasn't like a Comic-Con where people are lined up to take pictures with every celebrity.
No, because you're kind of all in the same mixing group of people. It's like you're at a party of people.
Percentage of celebrities?
That's a great question.
I mean,
I was thinking that while I was watching.
True.
It's like, are there 10 celebrities and 100 normal people here?
True celebrities? No, I would say it felt like because in the red carpet, because there's there's the people that attend the show who are part of the different organizations and different shows that get invited, but are not necessarily nominees. But just among that pool of people, I don't know, it's probably like a third genuinely recognizable famous people, and then 2/3 other people, because some people are writers that are famous
because then because of the crossover of TV and movies, you turn around, you've got Oscar Isaac there.
Yeah, literally behind my head at one point.
Right. Like that's not exactly normal a few years ago.
I met him once and I was not cool.
I know.
When I met
Who
him.
would be? I'm going back to look at your pictures.
Way before.
In general, my approach was, if I was going to talk to someone, I had to have something truly sincere to say. I was not going to go like just collect photographs, because it felt cheesy, but also like it just didn't, like, why, right? The other thing is that if they were clearly on their way to do media, or they were talking with like another celebrity, like I wasn't going to like horn it and be like, group photo, guys. But if they were walking kind of in the area where they weren't being photographed and they weren't like working in that moment, and we made eye contact, I had something to say, I'd say something. And then there were a couple folks I went out of my way to say something to, but again, not when I was bothering them. And so that was, and I'll get and it was, and so in the whatchamacallit, in the red carpet, Kristen Shaw was like an amazing moment. Another person was great, was Michael Stolberg, the guy from Dopesick, Stolberg from Dopesick. And we had a lovely conversation. He was so kind, and it was just so funny because he's so evil in that show. If you've ever seen that show, that was one of the big ones I was rooting for. And he was so terrifying, but he was so sweet and so nice. And he was like stopped and had a conversation. And then I want to give a really special shout out to Jess Brownell and her plus one. We were like in the plus one club. Sanam Petri or Petrie. I hope I pronounced it correctly. So Jess Brownell, who is a nominee, and I are standing next to each other, and I forget, we were geeking out at someone who walked by. I don't remember who it was. And then I introduced myself. She introduced herself, and then she, the nominees are actually quite humble. Like they, they don't just be like,
well, that's
I'm
sweet.
a nominee. So I said, oh, I'm here with my friend. He works at the Colbert Show, and then her friend introduced herself, and then she says, oh, I'm nominated. What's she nominated for? Okay, which episode of Inventing Anna was the best episode? I'm just period. Like if Inventing Anna, there is one episode that like there is no question is the absolute best episode.
Oh, I like
the
all
most
of them. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Morocco
the most
is amazing.
Morocco. It's 100% Morocco.
That's
right. And she was nominated for Morocco, and I did a backflip. I was like, "You don't understand how much I love that show, and you don't understand how much we talk about the Morocco." That's right. That's right. And so
that's awesome.
So I was just like talking about how I was like all
did
things
she win?
It's like
I don't believe she won, but she had a great, she's a good sport. She didn't seem like she was having a not good time. This was also before. She's
like, I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm leaving if I don't win.
No, but this was also like hours before they did that award.
Right, exactly.
But she was so, but like here I am just like, then that was a moment where I lost cool because I was like, that was so amazing. And then I was talking about how, on one hand, Anna's the bad guy, but the way you wrote that, you kind of think Rachel might be the bad guy. And so
she's now suing Netflix.
Oh, wow. Well, anyway, so I was
portraying her in a bad light.
But that episode is amazing.
Yeah,
so, and then
great episode.
And then I said, oh, what are you writing now? And like, and of course she isn't just writing. She is the showrunner of Bridgerton now.
I can't believe that. I love that.
Oh, that show's so fun.
And so, and I said, oh, my sisters and my wife watch it. And she said, a lot of people say that. She was very cool about that. I said, I've never been able to watch it. So this is what I'm saying. We're honest with people that are family. So Jess Brownell and her super fun friend, Sanam Petri, you are Friday Night Movie family, even though you'll never hear this podcast. But that was a great moment. So I want to pause now because then we went. Oh, sorry. The most important moment, out of all of this, was I did get to shake hands with Henry Winkler, and that was the only other time.
That's epic. That's like Michael Stipe level.
It was a mystical experience. Like it felt. The only other time I felt the level of energy of like the Force was when I met Elie Wiesel. And I shook his hand and my voice went silent and there was a bunch of people, but he reached out. It's not like he's clearly the most everyone's favorite person at the Emmys is 100% Henry Winkler, and he and his wife have time for everyone. They are. And so I reached out, I shook his hand, and then he saw me just smile and lose my speech. And then he just pulled my hand tighter together with his, kind of like pulled me a little closer. And I just said, thank you for everything.
That's
nodded back.
Oh my gosh.
He just nodded back at me. Sweet. And that was all I could say. And
I saw an interview with him. This would have been, I think, right before you met him. I'm just guessing your timeline of photos that I've seen of you at the Emmys. And they were asking him about what he gets recognized for, and he's like, literally everything. Like there's someone he's been in things so consistently that are so beloved, including now Barry, right? Like you've Parks and Rec and Barry, but Happy Days. Like there's so many things that he's like, it's pretty much he hits a ton of age groups.
I was speechless, and you could tell
he's amazing.
You could tell everybody like this was. I mean, there was a tweet once that said Henry Winkler is sort of the new Betty White. And, I don't think he would say that, but he is in that sense. Like this is the person that everybody was revering and it seemed like wonderful. And then I also met out there on the red carpet, Ayo Edebiri, who is
from the Bear.
She was one that I sought out because
she wasn't nominated, was she? Was that show not? No, it's from 2022.
She's nominated because she's also a writer on What We Do in the Shadows. That's how amazing she is.
Writer?
That's how amazing that woman is.
Because The Bear wouldn't be up for nomination because this is 2021.
I mean, I told her, I said, like,
Jesus, what a triple threat there.
I said something to the effect of like, well, I'm sure you'll be back winning again next year, because she's incredible and so nice and so beautiful and just like that's someone where I'm like, oh wow, I got to talk to her, but next time she'll be in that like Zendaya strata of human where you
right. It's not like you were so like someone like that. No one can get close to.
Well, I mean, there are probably people who can get close to, and there are probably people that want to, but I don't really have anything to say to Zendaya. She's amazingly talented,
right.
But I don't have
like
that
Amy
kind
Poehler was also there.
But she wasn't. I didn't see her on the red carpet.
She did,
and that was this kind of best time to chat with people. In the show, it's a lot.
Can we? I have a pressing question about the show.
Yeah.
When we get to it.
Well, okay. So no, so before the show, Jay and I were like, let's be strategic because in the past, because the way the show is set up, we were sort of on TV at any time. So when the show's running, you cannot get up. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You can't go do a pee. They're locked and loaded.
You can during the commercials. Like you better run.
Oh, what happens during the commercials? Are they just have someone doing song and dance? What's happening?
People get up and schmooze, and
it's in real time.
Yeah, the whole thing's in real time. People get up and schmooze.
You just have to sit there during. So you have to have a commercial break.
Oh yeah, and at one point during one of the commercial breaks, they made us sit through. They made us sit through a Kia commercial. It was the
Kia car commercial.
And I looked at it and I was like, this doesn't look funny. This is a commercial. And it just was a commercial. Although Alon said he really liked the Kia commercial. So what can I say? And so we're busted. We go to let's go to the bathroom. Okay. Now I want to preface this by saying,
did you go together?
This is my centerpiece story. Okay.
Oh my god.
I want to preface this by, I am a massive champion of gender neutral bathrooms, genderless, all gender bathrooms. My wife and I, when we make donations to institutions, if there's an opportunity that the money we donate is going to help create a space where people feel safe and feel included, okay, particularly
if there's one thing you can get behind, Shai, it's going to the bathroom.
Well, going to the bathroom is very important to me and this whole family. So I love them, okay? But I guess there's a right way to do it, which is private stalls and common washing area.
Right.
And a wrong way to do it, which is what we had.
Oh, God. And is this the bathroom that is at the theater or is the bathroom they set up for like porta potty situation?
No. This is the bathroom at the theater. Okay. Well, okay. Which we learned later was not the only bathroom at the theater, but we thought it was. It was enormous. Okay. It was a converted men's bathroom. So it had urinals and stalls, and everybody just kind of filed into this all gender bathroom, but it wasn't really an all gender bathroom. Like you could see everybody's feet. You could, there was kind of a red curtain to one section to give some privacy to, like, I guess what would have been a women's section. Should you want, because people have to change and stuff, and regardless of your gender, you want some privacy.
Spill some stuff on your dress.
So which celebrities did you hear fart while they were peeing?
So hold on. So
oh my god.
It totally increased.
I would imagine being a celebrity. No, they must have special bathrooms for the Zendaya.
They don't, because believe me, I was washing my hands and I made eye contact with Christina Ricci. Okay.
Amazing.
Who is, by the way, was like so playful and fun and nice to everybody. I did not talk to her. I saw her in the bathroom. So first of all,
she's Wednesday fucking Adams. How did you not talk to her
in the bathroom?
No,
unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
I would have washing your hands. I would have been like,
okay. So the other thing,
killed it in Yellow Jackets. I'm so glad you're back.
No.
Maybe eat a sandwich. I'm a bit worried.
She never left. Okay. Second of all, the one thing it did do is I'm confident I didn't come back with COVID, because you want to increase the chance of people washing hands. You put them in an all-gender bathroom with celebrities and journalists and stuff, because like
so all you have to do is stand there washing for 30 minutes.
I was there just scrubbing my hands, showing
prepping
everyone.
For surgery.
I literally would talk to the people next to me and be like, I want you all to know I said the whole ABCs. I washed my hands. I don't want anyone to think I didn't wash my hands. And we went more than once. Okay, there were areas that were a little more private. And for me, it's not even about the gender thing. It's about privacy, right? Like it's important to give people privacy. So men, women, whatever. So I go to the urinal rows and I go to stand in the urinal, and there was a second opening in the bathroom, and I picked the one urinal that is in like direct view of the entire women's section. So I'm standing with my
Poehler CUP.
So no, so
who's it gonna be?
I don't know.
Connie Britton.
All the voices sounded famous, right? Like I don't know who they were, but in my mind, So I wasn't. My urethra closed up like an envelope. Like I was dying. Like I'm just standing there, and all the other guys around me are peeing just fine. I don't know who they were, but I'm sure they're all just peeing fine. But me, all I hear is like the chattering of the voices and the people
like
talking.
Alexandra Daddario just listening to you pee.
And there's like a crowd of people, right, just on this other side. And then finally, I looked over at Jay and I just said, nope. Going to find a stall. And so I found like a stall around a corner where there's privacy. But it seemed that like everyone was kind of like, look, we're all for genderless bathrooms, but this is very disorganized. This is just chaos. And people are in gowns and they're just like their little feet are sticking out.
Some gowns you need assistance
peeing.
To get in and out of.
To like get out of the gown to pee.
Yeah. So that was extremely intense. After doing that the first time, I ran into Nick Mohammed from Ted Lasso, who was so sweet. And I told him, I said to him, I said, I loved your arc so much in the last season. I'm like, you're like the Darth Vader of this show, and it makes me so happy. It's so great. And he really.
But did you tell him his character was a little inconsistent? Because that's something we had a problem with.
I didn't say that.
Said on this show.
But there were some people. No, but I felt like once it landed at the end, I was good.
Once it landed at him being evil.
I believed it. I've stood by it.
They were foreshadowing.
Right.
But no, there were some people that I didn't talk to, because if I did, I would have been like, I did not like what they did with your character this season.
You wouldn't have been able to avoid saying it.
So I ran into him. He was very, very nice. Ran into Brett Goldstein and Jamie Tart. I don't remember the name of that actor. They walked by alone on me, and we had our nice, new, shiny, in my case, bought on Amazon Tux shoes. And they were like, nice shoes, boys. And they walked by it. Yeah. And then when they came back, said hi to Brett Goldstein, and of course.
So what did you say? No, this is not. Did you flag him down? You're like, we got people in common. What was that about?
Well, no, because the way the tables were set up, like we walked by each other more than once, and so one of the times we walked by where things hadn't started, like people were milling around, I said, "Pardon me," and he stopped, and he was, of course, so friendly, and I just said, I have
no. So no one was like, I don't have time. I can't talk to you right now. Nobody was rude.
I didn't talk to anyone who was like that. There were people where I could sense it was. And so I actually would ask them, I said, if you have to go, it's okay. I don't want to bother you. And most of the time they would say, no, thank you for asking.
Okay. So you were just like, pardon me.
I said, pardon me. I said, obviously you're amazing. Congratulations on your nomination. But then of course I brought up friend of the show, right? This is the beauty of the Friday Night Movie family. I said,
yeah.
The friend of Friday Night Movie, part of the Friday Night Movie family, Sophia Barclay. And of course he said Sophia is lovely and talented. So there you go.
It's so cool that you guys know people in common.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he was impressed with me, but what made me so happy is that he obviously agrees with us about how great Sophia is. And she is. She's such a star.
That's so
cute. Chatted with Hannah Einbinder. This is not one. I didn't get pictures from. I didn't ask for pictures.
You did text that. You did text that, but I wanted to ask about it.
And we saw her perform live, and I got to tell her how great her set was and how awesome Yerushalayim Shel Zahav is when she sang it in the show. It was so funny.
And what did she say? Was she? I guess she was like, yeah, nice. I'm super. She's like, I'm super famous now, guys. Obviously.
No, not at all. Like among the most, like. Everyone was very nice, but among the people who kind of stretched out and had like a real conversation, she was one of them, and just super cool. Then other sightings. Other sightings included Amanda Seyfried, Alexandra Daddario. I gotta say, is one of the most
beautiful,
magnificent looking people in person I've ever seen.
I am not surprised. Oh my god!
Like everyone looks amazing.
Gorgeous in True Detective. When she was in True Detective, she plays the girl that's having the affair with Woody Harrelson. And I was like, oh my God, who is that? That was the first time I ever saw her.
I didn't go talk to her though, because like that was someone like
your eye, like you, your head would explode. Your eyes wouldn't be able to see again. It's better you don't.
She just knows how to be a movie star. And then
it's like when Becky saw Angelina from far and was like, oh my God, everything you read is true. She's incredibly beautiful. More beautiful in person than on the films or whatever in film.
That's her. She's just magnificent. Wow. It was just magnificent to see to like see her do her thing, also talking to everybody and working, And then I'll end on, in terms of celebrity sightings, not even sightings, to just wrap up, to tie up the Friday Night Movie family with a bow. At the governor's ball party afterwards, I ran into the one and only Jackie Tone, the great Jackie Tone. She was on her way out, so we had a few minutes. Very busy lady. She had to go to another party. I only went to one big party, but we had the opportunity to chat for a few minutes and talk about the family, sends her love to everybody. And I said, when we come back to LA, when the three of us come back to LA, we're gonna hang out.
Did you accidentally bump into her, or were you guys messaging or something?
No, we weren't messaging. We both knew we were there, but we weren't.
Just eventually bumped into each other.
And then we eventually bumped into each other. It was right as she was leaving too. So
you're like, I know people here. I go here.
Was she like a bit surprised to see you there? She's like, what are you doing here?
I mean, I think at that point she knew I was there, but there's like thousands of people, right? So, but and also like,
she's like, I guess I let anybody into the Emmys nowadays.
If you're not in the same section, you may not see that person, especially if they don't go to the same party as you.
Party, right?
She was there for a little bit, so we got to
Who dictated what party you went to? Obviously Jay, but who dictates what party he goes to?
So some of the
Can he go to any party he wants?
If you win, you can go to any party, from what I understand.
Yes.
That's like your ticket into any party.
You just show your Emmy?
Yeah, you just show your Emmy. But so there's the main party that the Emmys throw. That's the one we went, the governor's ball, which was lovely. And then the streaming services and networks, depending on which one, do their own parties as well. So there's an HBO party and a Netflix party. Those are the ones I think I heard about the most. I think there must have been an Amazon party as well, because I've seen people since put pictures up that they were at some Marvelous Mrs. Maisel type thing. And
Who did not win this year?
They did not. They didn't win. Those guys were around though. You saw that they were. I didn't see. That was one where like, I respect Tony Shalhoub's one of the great actors of our time, but I've complained enough about that show that I'm not going to go up to Tony Shalhoub and be like, "Hey, Tony,
you're doing a great job playing a Jew.
I loved you in Galaxy Quest." like I can't. That would have not been appropriate. That would have not been appropriate. Yeah. So that was the experience, and it was like magical and wonderful, and it was fun being around with people. There were a couple of bits during the show that were right next to our table. Any of the bits that took place at the bar. So there was a Simpsons bit at the bar. There was a Stormtroopers Star Wars thing at the bar.
Who was at your table?
The
Colbert was not at your table.
No, he was at another table. But writer folks, they were super nice. So we had and their guests, and it was super nice. So that was the experience of attending once in a lifetime. Amazing.
Wait,
thank you, Jay.
I have a question.
Oh, ask your questions, but I just didn't want to, we got
question period. Okay, it's a very long event.
Okay.
What kind of food or snacks was there? Did they feed you? Could you buy snacks? Was there a vending machine?
When it's theater style, they apparently don't feed you much, but there's like concessions and wine at the breaks. And
that they bring around, like in the Expo Stadium, popcorn,
you could pick up popcorn and stuff like that. But at our table, because we were with the nominees and they did the table seating style, we got little snack boxes with apricots, chocolate covered pretzels, and chips.
Oh,
they had wine coming.
But that was it. That was like the meal for the night.
Yeah, but then a party afterwards. Who wants to bloat people while they're on their clothes?
What time does the whole thing wrap up?
Well, the whole thing ends at 8 on the West Coast.
You're right. So it's pretty early.
Yeah. The whole thing doesn't. It's not. It starts early in the afternoon and it's like wrapped up at 8 o'clock. And it was very efficient. I wouldn't say
very considerate of them for the West Coast to do it in the afternoon.
Yeah, and you get like how long that thing is. You get why
the people on the East Coast,
the folks who go to the Oscars, like why they always joke about it being long. Like in the Oscars, we're in those long rows and you can't get up.
It's not. Was it right? Was it way too long? Because these things seem
insufferable. This was very efficient. If you can say, if they say on Letterkenny, if you can be one thing, be efficient. This was very efficient, and I thought Keenan did a lovely job. I think he's hilarious, and award shows seem to be getting harder and harder to be the host of, right? It's like set up for everybody to like hate you.
But people like Keenan.
He's great. And you could see as he was walking around, just how many people love him and are friends with him and talk to him.
How close were you ever at any one time to Lizzo?
No, not close to this.
That's
I was
sad.
close to, our table was relatively near the Severance guys. So
Ooh.
Ben Stiller, John Turturro,
Who
Adam
didn't win
Scott.
anything, right? Did they win anything?
Christopher Walken?
No, they didn't win. I mean, I saw the great Esther Kustanowicz arguing for their case for them, and I think so. That show's pretty masterful. It also strikes me that it seems that, I mean, I don't know how the voting works, but it seems that it takes time to kind of ingrain yourself.
I think so, but
Right.
the MDE episode is one of those.
I mean, it's a great.
Although I hear you have to watch it on like ×2 speed, and
I
maybe the
mean, that's
Emmys
another reason why I was.
disappoint against you.
I watched the
loved it
first
from
four
the first-
episodes on
from the
×2
first
speed.
scene, the first- I loved it and was totally into
So,
it, and I thought it was
does-
beautifully paced and very.
Okay, is everybody at the show like they're at Disney World for the first time, or are there people that are just like, oh, this again? You can tell they're super bored.
Everybody is very chill. I think you can tell there are some people it's more of a job for them. Particularly, there are folks who kind of know they're not gonna win, right? Like,
But they have to be there.
But they have to be there,
or they're not nominated and they have to be there.
Yeah, or
They're presenting or something.
But everyone has like an attitude of gratitude. I think like everyone has like.
I
very
wonder how
positive,
many people present and then just go home, like to be with their kids. They've done this so, like Amy Poehler, she's done this so many times. Or Mindy Kaling, like you're there. They're not up for anything. They present and then they're just like, oh, I'm gonna like eat some fries and go home.
That's probably what they do, right? Like it is just, it's another party for those people who are that important. There is, I did get a better understanding of how crazy that the business can make people though, because right here are the people that I'm sitting with people who have, like the least known people that are nominated are achieving at the highest in their field in the world, or arguably, right? And even then there's a velvet rope beyond a velvet rope beyond a velvet rope beyond a velvet rope. And it's constantly, and you're constantly being reminded. I think that's a hard environment to work in. It made me very sympathetic to the folks who work hard to entertain us.
How many people were looking at their phones?
I mean, people bounced on and off their phones, but it wasn't crazy.
Do they tell you to silence your phone? It's like a big deal.
I don't remember.
It's like a Broadway show.
No, because it's a party. It's a lot of cheering, and people are quiet during the announcements. But
did anybody hit anybody else that you saw?
No hitting in like the pre-setup. They did like the mandatory, like, don't hit anyone.
No photographs, no assault.
Yeah, now it's like no photographs, and then like kind of a funny joke about don't.
Assault
but I don't think that was on
fellow.
TV. I couldn't tell if that was on.
No,
TV.
I don't.
Well,
I don't think
it
it
sounds
was.
like quite the fun experience. And we'll see if maybe you'll
I feel like there's
next year.
I don't know.
There's one guy that was like gonna go. You really are the person I would send that I feel like would just make the most of it. Like
I'll say this
really
for anyone listening who wants to wants to bring me to an award show. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you're definitely.
I can talk to anyone.
You make it
not
count.
Not gonna embarrass you. I own a tux. I have a lot of Marriott points.
Very independent. Does not need to be babysat.
Yeah.
Has a lot of Marriott points.
A lot of Marriott points.
Put you up in a nice hotel.
And so I'm low maintenance.
You always order the good Ubers.
Yeah, that's true. If you invite me, I will make sure you're riding an Uber.
Was it like a bar mitzvah where everybody's staying at the same hotel? Did they get a block?
There were a lot of people staying in a hotel, but there was also some random convention there. I did see one morning. I did see Christopher Maloney from
SVU.
SVU. He like walked by me
and Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah, and in his gym clothes. But for most of when I was looking at him, I thought he was CM Punk the wrestler. And so he thought I was staring at him because he's like one of the most famous people there. And I was just like, CM Punk here. Oh my God. Nope. It's that SVU guy. That SVU guy.
Amazing.
So let's talk about the actual awards. What were highlights?
I don't even care. I wasn't even paying. I was just watching the Shai show. Don't care.
I love that White Lotus won big.
Ooh.
We were such huge fans of that show. Did so many wins.
I'm rewatching it with Mom now. Mom's loving it.
Won. I mean, I have to tell you, Armand is such a staple in my life now. My husband and I go to very few places where we don't look around and go, "Ooh, he's the Armand of this place." That is like a game that we play. Everything is relative to, her mom.
The best is that mom is 100% like, it's good for that kid for emailing his mom about that hotel booking. Because I think he's paying for the wrong room. And I was like, Mom, I've seen it already. And I'm rewatching with Mom. And I'm like, Mom, right? I'm not crazy. They shouldn't be paying for this room. Get him the room that he wants.
You get the pineapple suite.
I'm like, he is taking his honeymoon, but he's also not being unreasonable. Mom's like, oh, I'm so glad he just emailed his mom to get the booking reference.
Which I have to say just shows the brilliance of Michael White's writing, where these characters, they're so many of them are wavering on that line of
Mike White did come by our table at one point, and I don't think he knew we were, but he was in such a good mood because he just won all those Emmys. So we clapped when he walked by, and he like cheered and was very sweet.
He must have been. He's been in the industry forever.
He's amazing.
Working his ass off forever. Good for him. And Jennifer Coolidge.
Coolidge.
My big win, the one that I kind of went in and I had been talking about coming in, like the one I'd really pinned my hopes on, was Michael Keaton winning for Dopesick, because I think that's truly, that was the most amazing thing that was created this year for TV, and he was incredible in it. So winning was great.
Julia Gardner, not for Inventing Anna, but she won for Ozark, right?
Yeah,
it's apparently her third year in a row.
Yeah, she's
incredible.
She's phenomenal in that show. She's really phenomenal. Good. I'm so glad she's recognized.
I loved seeing Hacks and Jean
Smart win.
That was great. Awesome. And then Cheryl Lee Ralph was one of the best things ever. And
her acceptance speech was beautiful.
And let's remember, this is someone who has been working for ever. All right. I mean, to go through and I know her from, and the character that I love her as is Miss Loretta in The Distinguished Gentleman, which I think is one of the most underrated political comedies ever made. And I think it is one of Eddie Murphy's most underrated movies from 92. It always gets overshadowed by Boomerang, which came out around the same time. But, we've been watching her in so many things since she was in Oliver and Company.
Yeah.
That's how far back.
And Sister Act 2.
Yeah. And so seeing her win was amazing. And then, of course, she just won all acceptance speeches of all time.
Of all time, yeah.
Which is great. So it was an amazing experience. I'm so grateful to Jay and all of his colleagues for treating me so nicely, and to all those famous people who were also nice. They don't need to be nice, I guess, but they were so nice.
And Issa Rae didn't win, right?
I don't think so. I did say at one point I went out to the bathroom, and you know how if you don't come back in time, the door closes until they open it again. Mm-hmm. And there was a stretch where I missed a few of the awards, so I don't know the answer there.
It's because you got stage fright peeing next to Christina Ricci.
I mean, that's an amalgamation of the stories.
No, she didn't win, but she was nominated.
She was not standing next to me while I was peeing. That was a different bathroom trip. Okay. So with all that being said, let's talk our recs and shout outs. Farnham, by the way, recommends a show called Mo on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Which looks brilliant. And the best line she had about it, though, she said, I just want you to be psychologically prepared to fall in love with the city of Houston. Because apparently it makes you really have a soft spot for Houston.
It's got to be good TV if it's making you fall in love with Houston.
Exactly. I said, well, I'm sold. Mm-hmm. We'll be watching that. Lily, do you have anything?
I finished Reacher, which was so much fun. Amazon Prime, totally recommend for people to watch. You were not wrong.
I told you show to me.
No, because it's Campy and I told the show if I want to watch it.
But right? For Jose, I nailed that.
It took almost no convincing.
No, but I just it was a bullseye for Jose though.
I guess we'll just call it a bullseye.
We got to get a better name for it.
We got a better name.
An idea for a name for it.
But it was great. I highly recommend it. There is adequate amount of time of the main actor in the shower. You are right. For the amount of muscles he has, he is for some reason, usually in these movies and these shows, when they're on the run.
Keep me preoccupied while we wait for the next season of Witcher.
When, on these shows, when it's action shows or movies, you're always like, how many days has it been since these guys showered? Right? They wear one pair of clothes the entire movie and it's over. And I definitely wonder, I'm like, that is disgusting. There's so much sweat. Don't worry. He's being hunted by multiple groups of people. He has plenty of time to find a nice hot shower.
To peel that t-shirt off.
Grateful for it. I've never seen a human being with that many muscles. Mom was even like, does he have more muscles in The Witcher? And I was like, I think so. So he's very muscly.
By the way,
it's a great show.
At least 2 more seasons of The Witcher. It looks like it's been renewed for a 4th and 5th season.
So great.
That's great news.
That's very relaxing to be honest.
Yeah, I can go.
And then because it's a complicated show to follow.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't.
Yeah. And then rewatching White Lotus with Mom. And I'm making my way through Indian Matchmaking, which I am obsessed with. It's on Netflix. That and Selling Sunset are the only reality shows I watch. But this is some good quality drama.
I still watch 0 reality shows. Becky, it seems that getting out of Spain really upped your TV watching game.
Big time. So
I've been back for 24 hours and you've
watched a couple series. So on the flight back, I watched Thor: Love and Thunder.
What'd you think?
So first of all, it was a chaotic experience for me because I was for half
because that movie is chaotic.
For half the movie, I was managing my 2 toddlers while trying to watch it. But I felt like I was in rhythm with the movie because the movie is very chaotic. So it worked really well for me. I have to say, it was such a great movie to watch on that flight on the iPad. It worked. You know how some movies work really well in a theater? For me, this worked really well on a plane.
Oh, okay.
So I actually enjoyed it so much. And the ending, not the ending, but the epilogue, not the post-credit scene, but the epilogue to the ending. So you have the ending, and then you have the little like epilogue, and then the credits roll, where Korg comes back and he's narrating, and it's Thor and the little girl.
Okay.
And I don't know. I was so moved. I was crying.
They do kind of. Well, first of all, I knew that movie was made to make you cry because there's some serious daughter shit in that.
Really?
But when so Lily and I were just having this conversation about using the title of a movie in a movie. We're referencing this episode of Loot where they talk about a play and then is the title of the play going to be in the play?
Yes, because it's a very rare occurrence where it's not
where it
cheesy,
works,
like
and it
where
works
it works.
And like the last line of the movie
is the title,
and it just blew my heart open, and I was crying.
Really?
It was so perfect.
I think I think the chaos of that movie is what makes it good, and I think
it's great.
The Marvel it doesn't follow the Marvel formula because it's so weird, and Taika Waititi is clearly more unleashed in this one than in Ragnarok. Like Ragnarok is a more straightforward movie, and this one he's just like, I'll do whatever. I'll have
screaming goats.
It's so weird.
But I like that. I know there were some other aspects that people were critical of it, but I loved that ending, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I also have finally watched season 3 of The Boys.
I thought it was the best season.
I thought it was fantastic, and I thought the ending of the season.
I haven't seen the last episode.
Such an amazing setup.
I don't remember
for this next season. It was so good. It was. I
never remember the end of the show.
And I'm trying to watch the new season of Cobra Kai, and I'm just.
But it has Bad Boy Barnes in it.
No, it has.
Have you watched Karate Kid 3 recently?
No. I know it has, and like I love it. I just wonder. Who is it for? It's not for teenagers. We've established that this show is not for actual kids, right?
No, I think teenagers watch it.
No, because most of the show is about all these old guys and their beef, which is really fun to watch, especially because it's so. What's fun about it is that it's so anchored in the Karate Kid movies. See, in the canon of the Karate Kid movies.
So well.
So that's what works really well.
It really does anchor. Like they bring back the characters.
They bring them back, and it is using the canon of those 3 movies, and it is not delineating from it, and so it's awesome in that way.
Look, I gotta say, Netflix, rather than make another big action movie, just pay to put Hilary Swank in this show. Just complete the circle. Just one episode, a cameo. Have her leave a phone message.
Come on. I need to know. She's like their final secret weapon against Silver. I don't know.
Terry Silver.
He's a great villain, though. He plays such a sociopath. He plays such a great villain. I will say he does it very, very well. Silver's it's very fun to watch. that.
I love that they don't run away from the rest of the franchise. They find a way to fit it
they
on.
double down on the franchise.
They're like, Karate Kid 3?
Like,
there's a lot to farm in Karate Kid 3.
Yeah. They're less concerned with these teenagers that are being coached, and they're much more into
the teens have really grown on me, but I want to.
They're definitely secondary to
bring in Chosen.
There's entire episodes where you don't even see the kids, and it's just all the old guys fighting.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's what I came to watch.
Yeah.
All right, Becky, where can people follow you?
At Paper BK Princess on Twitter.
And Lily, where can people follow you?
Chichi K Gomez on Twitter.
And you can follow me at Pancake and the number 4 table on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow all the Friday Night Movie shenanigans at Fry Night Movie on Twitter and Instagram. Go to our website at FridayNightMoviePod.com and sign up for our Almost Never newsletter. Promise we won't get it a lot, but it may have a cool Emmys playlist or something in it. And also leave a review on Instagram, not Instagram. Leave a review. Well, I mean, you can leave a review on Instagram if you want, but leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, and make it a 5-star review. Tell them how much you love us so we can wear out the average of that one little bad review we got years ago. The theme music is by What Does It Eat? And it's so great to be recording with you all. Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.